Hi, folks. Welcome to Ferrum Football First and 10 with Jordan Mann. I am clearly not Jordan Mann. My name is Gary Holden. I'm the assistant AD. I'll be your host today. With me is head coach Rob Grande. Rob, as you heard, Jordan wasn't feeling well today, so I'm stepping in, taking his place. And Jordan, we hope you're feeling better.
No doubt, no doubt. Good to see you, Gary.
Good to see you too. Let's talk a little bit about last week. Rough loss going down to Alabama last week. Long road trip, probably 10, 12 hours on the bus and everything. You guys left on Thursday, was it? Went
Thursday
down there?
night after practice and dinner, we went midway to Greenville, South Carolina, and then finished the trip going in on Friday to Montgomery.
What is that, about 12 hours total for you to get down there?
Yeah, with the bus and stopping and that, it's probably about 11, altogether. So, yep.
And you're going down, your first year as a coach, you're going down, your big long road trip is going down to face the conference champs. The defending conference champs went to the NCAA tournament last year. How was the atmosphere going into the game and everything? Were the guys pretty pumped up?
Yeah, I mean, we had a good trip, and I think there's nothing I would do differently in terms of getting to the game. But from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, there's a lot we'd like to do different. But as far as the trip, and certainly on the other end of the trip's a very good football team, and Coach Turk's been in the league a long time and done a great job down there. So I knew we had our hands full and felt good about our opportunity, and we just didn't make the most of it. So.
Sure. All right, so we suffered a 48-27 loss. We got down early, came back, scored a couple of touchdowns and everything, but were they big on the offensive, defensive lines? Where were they?
They were well coached. I mean, they were strong, and they controlled the line of scrimmage. We've made hay in the first few games of the season with our D-line, with tackles for losses and putting pressure on the quarterback. And you look at the stat sheet, we had 1 tackle for loss. So I mean, that pretty much says how the game was dictated offensively. And
sure.
They're number 1 statistical offense in the country. So you're going to have your hands full. And again, hats off to their coaches and players, and they just had the best of us on Saturday, that's for sure.
Well, and I suspect that there was probably some type of focus on that as well. Your defense had been stepping up, had been really, coming off the defensive line and everything, putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Do you think going into the game that they felt like, all right, we got to control this portion of the game if we're going to be successful?
Yeah, and I think that's a weekly, goal of anybody. We talk about it here is that as they go, we go, and that's something that didn't happen Saturday, but we're back at it this week for a good Maryville team, and looking to get back on track.
All right, so statistically, you had a couple players with some good numbers. Brian Mann had another 100-yard game for you. That's 5 in a row for him to open his career. I need to crack open the record books and find out if Chris Warren or anybody else might have done that. But that's pretty unique, isn't it?
Yeah, regardless of the record book. I mean, to have a guy who's been here, less than 2 months on campus to, accomplish that on the field, and surrounded by a lot of kids that are working hard, and I think they see his daily effort in practice and his work ethic in the weight room and just the way he carries himself as just a quiet leader by his actions, and one
Sure.
of those guys, and certainly he's reaping some benefits of some good play around him, and to do that against a good team like Huntingdon, coming out of that game, which was disappointing, gave us some fuel to know that we can run the ball against a good team, and we got to do some things around the run game to do a little bit more. But it's certainly Brian's been a huge asset for us this fall.
Sure. Well, speaking of the games around the league and everything, it looks as though top to bottom there's some parity there. I noticed that now NC Wesleyan had a win over Huntingdon. Huntington's had a win over us. Somebody else beat NC Wesleyan last weekend.
Maryville did last week.
So it looks as though there's anybody can be beaten and everything. And
yeah, they talk about the home field advantage. I mean, NC Wesleyan won at home, Maryville won at home, Huntingdon won at home, and we got to win at home. So we've talked about going 1-0, and I'd heard late over the PA that Maryville had beaten NC Wesleyan, and as salty as I was Saturday, when I think about it, the next thing we can do is play Maryville, which is 2-0, and get them here at home and get right back into an interesting conversation with a win this week.
no better way to climb back on the horse, basically, than to take on a team that's, coming in, unbeaten in the league. You have a chance to control your destiny a little bit more with a win there. He puts us right back in the mix for, the hunt for the championship and everything.
Yeah, and to be mid-October and to be in that conversation is what you ask for as a team and a coach. And, I'm excited about that opportunity. And, our players were in this morning lifting and watching film at 6 a.m. and getting ready for another good work day and heading into Saturday.
Yeah, good. Well, we're real excited about that. What do you expect out of Maryville? Are they big? Are they physical, fast? All the above?
A little bit of both. I mean, it's them and Huntingdon have been kind of the top of the league last few years, and that's how the preseason polls kind of go off of last year. And Coach Hayes does a good job down there, and it's been a part of a wave of 4 or 5 years since they made a coaching change.
And he's an alumni from there, right?
He is, and he's been on a few staffs before getting his opportunity last year, and he's made the most of it and done a great job. So it's going to be a great challenge like every week is, but hopefully they're feeling the same challenge down their way with coming up here to Ferrum. And
Sure.
It'd be great to be back home. It seems like Emory and Henry was about 2 years ago, and September 3rd is a distant memory. So
Yeah.
I think our guys are excited about being at home and getting that opportunity, to finish this season the right way, and it starts this Saturday.
Well, it's fall break here on campus, so most of the students will be gone, but we are having Fan Appreciation Day. Folks, if you're looking to come to a college football game, our Fan Appreciation Day is this Saturday. Free admission for anyone that brings 2 canned good items. The canned good items will go towards Ferrum's Cans Across the Conference program, which helps to provide food and items to local community food banks, other organizations like that. So if you want to come see a college football game, throw a bunch of cans of green beans and sloppy joes in the car with you and come on down to Ferrum, WB Adams Stadium, 1 o'clock kickoff time. We're real excited about seeing the team, and I think it should be a good experience. And we definitely need the fans this weekend too.
It's a conference competition, so we want to be the top conference competition with the canned food drive. So come out and support a great cause.
Yeah. Coach, talk a little bit about, if you got a couple minutes, about recruiting. I know all during the year you seem like you're recruiting. You have an off week. You had that one off week. I suspect you guys were on the road somewhere visiting some kids and everything.
Sure.
How's that been going so far?
It's going well. Wednesday, Thursdays, big call nights for us. Going into the season, the weekend, and we try to make 8 to 10 calls a week as a staff, and if you multiply that across our staff in 10 weeks, we're reaching out to close to 1,000 prospects and coaches, and we've got over 20 young men coming in this Saturday for a game day visit, which we've got 3 coming up here to finish the season. And you make hay in November, December, but you got to kind of set the field,
Sure.
up here in the fall. And it's a tough balance between preparing for the upcoming opponent, but you got to keep your eye on the recruiting class, because that's how you're going to grow your program. So
Sure,
I
sure.
feel good about where we are right now. And
Are you guys focusing on any certain area with recruiting, offense, defense, lines?
at this point, just best available kids that are out there, and just communicate with coaches to see who's having seasons that we didn't see in the spring when we contacted them in May. There's always a senior that rises up this fall in a high school that maybe the head coach didn't see coming. So you want to make sure they're on your radar. And at our level, it's a matter of sorting through where kids may land with the Division II and FCS walk-on opportunities, and just making sure we know who those guys are too, because that's a task that's not certain for them, and Ferrum will be a great opportunity for them to continue their career.
Well, and you've had some young players this year who kind of have been prime examples of, you can go to college and you can make an impact. Man, you've had a couple other players on defense that have done real well and everything.
Sure, and that's something that we constantly want to create competition within our team. I feel if we can compete Monday through Friday, we're going to compete better on Saturday, and
Sure.
you only do that through recruiting and bringing in quality players. So.
Yeah, good. Well, I hope all that goes well for you. Hope it goes great on this coming Saturday and everything. Folks, just a quick reminder, Fan Appreciation Day, Saturday, October 15th, 1 o'clock kickoff time. Bring 2 cans of food, get into the game for free, help us support the Panthers. This is a big conference game, Ferrum versus Maryville. We hope to see you all there. For Coach Grande, I'm Gary Holden. Coach, thanks again for being here. Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it, Gary.
Have a great weekend, folks. Hopefully we'll see you at the stadium.